Hey guys, it's Deco. Welcome to Splatoon 3. I mean, it's not really a Let's Play, so it's really a Let's Play. We're gonna talk about blasters, specifically the Clash Blaster. I think every so often, I think after I really get used to a weapon, I think I'm gonna do it more of an in-depth dive on. Because the weapons in this game, while some of them have been around since Splatoon 1, some of them aren't. Like, you know, for instance, the Splatana. I'm still trying to get used to that one. It's a very hard weapon to master, but when you do it, it's very satisfying. So the Clash Blaster. I have had a lot of fun playing Clash Blaster. Originally, I started doing it just to, you know, try to get the Sheldon licenses, get ready for the version 2 update that's supposed to be coming out next month, maybe in January of next year. Nintendo hasn't really said anything about it, but a lot of people are expecting, you know, new kits to come out for weapons. And while in Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2 it costs, you know, money in this game is not used for weapons, licenses are. So I've been, on the off chance that you do need a license in order to get the new kit, I've just been trying to grind out some licenses just so I can, you know, I can get the new weapons right off the bat. In doing so, in an attempt to get motion controls down, which I have actually, I cannot play stick anymore. I've become one of those people. I cannot play sticks. To me, I think motion controls are the way to go. I actually bought these special glasses that help curb motion sickness, and I've been using them for a good couple of weeks. And while they're goofy as hell, they friggin' work. So it enabled me to really get motion controls down. I mean, yeah, I still need more practice and stuff like that, but it has made playing this game a lot more fun because you're not limited strictly to stick motions. If I need to, you know, move up, I literally just move the Pro Controller out. It's super fun to play. Let me know in the comments if you wrote the link to that Amazon link. It only cost me $8. They're not bad, and like I said, they're goofy as hell, but they work. So Clash Blaster, there's not a damn thing that I would change about Clash Blaster. I think that the loadout on it is freaking perfect. I mean, me being picky, I would say that it does need maybe a slight damage up. But the point of Clash Blaster isn't direct fire. I mean, yeah, I mean it's satisfying when you hear that chink when you know you're doing it. For lack of better words here, because I really don't know what it's called. I'm gonna call it a direct hit, like a crit. So this is Splatfest. It's Pokemon Splatfest. You know, it's a crit. You know, it's a critical hit here. Hashtag Team Water. Representing big man here. But for Clash Blaster, the point of Clash Blaster isn't direct damage. It's the rate of fire and chip damage. I think the chip damage is what really cements this weapon, because you can busy dodge and you can do all of these things while maintaining a really steady speed of fire, and you can just, it takes 3 chip hits to, you know, I think it's 30 damage each is what the chip damage does to it, but once you hit, you know, 3 or 4 of them, that's it. You know, the enemy's gonna get splatted. So I mean, there's really, the Clash Blaster to me is, I would not change this loadout at all. Splat bombs, solid. I have rolled many a people with splat bombs, just unintentional. You throw it in the heat of the moment. Between them and suction bombs, I think, you know, this is it. Like, it's your perfect sub. Trizooka, I mean, if we're gonna be real here, I mean, I would say that if anything other than Trizooka, you could argue that, you know, maybe Inkjet, maybe Inkvac would be better on this one. People that say Inkvac people that think Inkvac is stupid, they just don't know how to play it. Inkvac is a very solid special. But Trizooka works. I mean, you don't have to special grind. You literally can, you know, your basic loadout on this. So the cons for this is it does take a lot of ink. Like, it is just Clash Blasters, and just blasters in general, they're thirsty. They are thirsty weapons, and the ink management on this is terrible. I mean, it does not take a lot to drain your tank, and that's that's consequential because when you're, you know, when you're in the middle of it, especially like if you're during a ranked match and you run an ink, that's it, you're dead. Like there really isn't any, there's no coming back from it. Like, you're straight up out of ink, you're gonna get killed. And that's not even for lack of trying. It's like 6 or 7 shots of this, and unless you're really, really actively paying attention to your tank, it's real easy to run out. And when you're, you know, in a firefight, the last thing you're just trying to focus on dodging and moving. You're not really focusing on your ink mate, on your ink growth. So that'd be the only thing I'd say. Increase, you know, maybe ink efficiency just a little bit. Painting, you know, painting wise, I think it's solid. You know, it is a decent painter. You can definitely cover large swaths of area with, you know, relatively ease. The splash damage, I think, is what really helps it. It's a small little AoE. For ever you watching, ink your fucking base, okay? Like, there's weapons that are good at inking, and there's weapons that are not good at inking. While blasters are okay at inking, that's not their point. Blasters are forging ahead weapons. Like, you really, when you're a blaster, you really can push through with very little. You're pushing through. You can create openings in the enemy's defenses, splatting 2 or 3 people at a time. While more of the heavier weapons can come behind you. But if you're a roller, or if you're, God forbid, a sploosh, splash, or aerospray user, ink your fucking base. Holy shit. It's not hard. Everyone says, oh, ink in the mid, you know, ink after respawn, you know, rush to mid, ink after respawn. No. Jesus, some people just can't do it. Kills do not matter in this game. Yeah, it helps, you know, because depending on, you know, how much ink you spread is depending on the points, and yeah, the numbers look cool when you're at the end screen, and yeah, if the enemy is dead, they can't ink the turf, but you have to ink your fucking base. Like, holy shit. The amount of people that I've played lately that do not ink the base is ridiculous. I don't care. Ink after respawn, ink the whole base before you go and fight. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay? It doesn't matter. So for Clash Blaster, Clash Blaster is, you're really gonna want to make Clash Blaster more of, you're gonna want to have a build, right? So the meta for Clash Blaster is quick recovery. So if you don't splat anybody for any, you know, if you spawn and you don't splat anybody and you die again, your respawn time is a lot shorter. That's helpful because there are times you might not splash anybody, but you're gaining ground by inking turf, because that AoE is what's really, really helpful here. Throw in some intensify action, because there are times when you're gonna want to be jump and shoot man, which is helpful. You could also probably definitely ink save remain, definitely ink recovery up, definitely ink resistance up. And because you've got splat bombs, I would even throw in some sub saber. You don't need to grind. I wouldn't put in special up unless you want to, you know, give up one of your quick recoveries and put in special recovery when you respawn. That would be fine. But doing like the mean build of like the reflex or the fling as rollers, you don't need to grind your special. You will get your special very, very quickly with the amount of AoE damage and chip damage and splash damage you're actually just doing. I mean, you can see that I haven't really done a lot to it, and definitely it's not taking me very long to charge the special. I mean, there really isn't, there's a meta, but not really a meta. I mean, if you have looked at my build, if you've played against me and you've seen my build, you'll know that I don't really follow a meta. I kind of go what makes sense to my playstyle and how I play for it. really going to be at a disadvantage with it because you're just not. I mean, there's some people that just feel like the professional players are just like, oh, you definitely need, you know, this. Not really. You really don't. Do whatever. But those are my thoughts on Clash Blaster. If you guys like this video, smash that like button. If you like the video even more, go ahead and hit that sub button. I would really appreciate it. I think next time we're going to go more into the range blaster and just the regular blaster. So we'll see. Anyway, guys, happy splatting!